Hello, everyone. A warm welcome to the Eileen Fisher Women Together Connect. So good to be back together again. I haven't seen so many of you since August. So a warm welcome back and a warm welcome to those of you who may be joining us for the first time. It is wonderful to have this community, to connect with each other, to have a space to share with one another some practices that allow us to just be more resilient, have a little bit more spaciousness in our lives. I found that over the last few weeks, I've been able to have just a little bit more spaciousness, in part because it was summer, in part because I got to take a bit of time off and be in nature. And so I hope that you all had a lovely rest of the summer in the Northern Hemisphere, and that you are ready for action, whatever that may mean in your own life. So we are so glad to have Brahmani here with us again to kick our season back off. And before I turn it over to her, I'll just invite us to share in the chat. Many of us already are sharing where you're coming from and what you've been up to a little bit. So I see some of us are sharing where we are, and it's great to just see where we are. Sometimes we share a little bit about the weather, but maybe you could share a highlight of your last few weeks with us. So we see we've got Toronto, Winchester, Massachusetts, California, Bainbridge Island, New York, Nyack, let's see, Monmouth County, New Jersey. So we'll let those come in for a moment. Arizona. And just recognizing that we're coming in from many different places, many different parts of our own communities, our own cities and states and countries, and that we're holding our little piece of earth. The earth body is holding us. So as our bodies are here in our own little piece of earth, that we are all connected on this planet, and that we are each being held and holding at the same time. So I see Westchester, Arlington, Mass, Chicago. Wonderful to hear about upcoming workshops. San Diego, Santa Fe, New Jersey, Oregon City. Digging out from yet another set of storms last week. Yeah, I hope that your community is doing all right in Vermont. And we see Wisconsin, California. If you're in YouTube, you can type it into the comment section and we'll pull that out. East Hampton, New York, Bloomfield, Connecticut. Wonderful. And as we do this, as we share our place and where we're coming from, we want to give just a little moment to land in this physical body, this vessel that carries us through the day to day, and maybe just give a little moment to connect in with the earth and physical body. So if you want to put both feet flat on the ground, that can be a good way to just feel fully being here. And perhaps close your eyes or lower your gaze. And we do these tiny practices, just a little practice that can connect us for just a moment. You know, many of us have done retreats year after year, some with Brahmani, where we are in movement or stillness, and we are invited into our bodies for a period of time out there. And these tiny practices invite us anytime, any moment of the day, to just reconnect and land right here. So both are needed, both are absolutely necessary. And the invitation is just to give yourself a moment to land right here in this body, on this earth body. So if you can, feet on the ground, you can close your eyes, or if it's in your practice, just to lower your gaze, just to soften the connection, soften the kind of focus that we have, this laser focus on the world around us, and just soften the gaze. And maybe take a deep breath, or even just notice where the breathing is today. And just feel the breath moving in and out of the body. Feel the body naturally filling with air. Feel the body releasing. Inhaling and exhaling naturally as the body does. And then connecting for a moment inside with your own intention. What brought you here today? Or what do you hope to have happen in this period of time? Women together connect. And as that crystallizes for you, you can write a word or a phrase in the chat and just let Brahmani and I know what brought you here today to this Women Together Connect session. And as those come in, I will turn it over to Brahmani, who many of you know well. And she brings with her 40 years of studying, teaching, and all of her experience in the yoga, meditation, and mindfulness community. She's internationally recognized in the Kripalu tradition, and she founded the Rivertown Center for Yoga and Health, was a director and head teacher for over 20 years. She currently is the co-creator and director of Journey into Yoga School of Yoga and Meditation. She runs workshops, retreats, and yoga teacher trainings. She is such a wonderful light in our world and in our community, and has really inspired so many of us to be in our bodies and to be fully here, fully aligned. I today was talking about how, especially on Zoom, but in life, our bodies can be just a kind of vehicle to carry the brain around. And Brahmani, remind us to reconnect these faculties and to realign with our spirit and our kind of deep source of knowing what's possible and really tuning into our highest potential. So thank you for inviting us into, sometimes there are little practices that just make a huge amount of difference. So thanks for being with the Women Together community and doing what you continue to do in the world. So over to you.
Thanks, Antoinette. I love that, little practices. And I think it's true because that's our life. It's not that we do practice here and then we go live our life. Our life's not separate. Meditation is really everything we do. So thank you for inviting me back. Thank you everyone for coming. I see some dear old friends and some new ones, and I know many of us have been together. And I know you've all been on break from Women Together for, I hear, it's 6 weeks. And that's a long time when we count on a community to touch base with. But it's also a time that life keeps happening, right? Life keeps happening with it. As the Buddha said, 10,000 joys and woes. Life happens, and how do we meet it? And if you were with me back in June, I had the good fortune of being with you guys in June. And some of you knew I had a broken arm. Well, the arm is healed. I'm still in recovery. But it is those moments that life gives you a big something, at least I recognize it. And it is in those moments like, oh, this is where all my years of practice really, what is it called? Hit the pedal to the metal. And it's like that, to practice patience. And you saw in our description, navigating life really takes patience and tolerance and acceptance, right? And those words just kept coming up for me during the time when I was in a lot of pain and discomfort and impatience, because I'm a yogi. I expected this to go much quicker, and it doesn't. It goes as long as it goes, but that's the way life goes, and so then we're shown, what is it? What is it that we have to pull up? I'm seeing some people. Hi there. Hi, Lori. Hi, Lanny. Yeah. It's great to see you all back. So I'm here to invite us into that, but, deeper than I think when I call up on the patience and acceptance. It's that I can connect to something that's bigger. Antoinette spoke it beautifully. This body that we're held in, we're all connected, a vessel, she called it. Holding it all. You know, there's both this human life, we feel all of the discomforts, all of that, but there's an infinite peace, right? An infinite love that is everything. We're all it. It's not that we touch infinite love and then we go live our life. It's all made of that infinite peace. In fact, all of the great traditions point us to that. If you've been with me, you hear me say this again and again. They point us to recognize that we are already peace, we are already awake. We don't have to fix ourselves. We don't have to change ourselves. Wow, when I heard that, you know, that's liberating. I was like, what do you mean I don't have to fix myself? What do you mean I don't have to change myself? You know, no, we don't. We're having a human, a wonderful experience. And we learn from all of those things, the places where we close down, the places where we open up. Isn't it interesting? Can we keep a sense of humor? Can I say yes, even if I don't like it? And, you know, acknowledge that. Wow, I better keep a sense of humor for this human condition because it's not always easy. And sometimes I think it is humorous to see how the habits show up and say yes to that and say yes to that. It doesn't mean we're going to go off so much with the unskillful ways that we might, because if we can see it, we can wake up. We can make a choice, right? So you're all here, and that speaks to who you are in your life and that you're managing a life, that you're committed to practicing in some way. We all have different ways. And what are we trying to do? We're trying to reconnect home. And we do it through connecting with others also. We do it through many practices. Andrew said the little practices, but it's many moments, many times through our day. And in really everything we do, right? We take a walk, we feel our feet on the earth, we look around. We are right now, in fact, what I'd really love us to do is to look around and scroll through the screens and just see that just like me, you know, everyone is living a life. And so as you scroll through, or if you have the feed on the top with everyone, just take a moment and see that person and just remind yourself, just like me, this person is having a human experience just like me. Hello, this one is navigating her life. Just like me, this person wants to be happy. Hello, just like me. And we connect in this way with our hearts, recognizing we're not different. We're all human, and we're all made of that same source. Tracy, Lisa, and Lanny, Kathleen. Some people I know, some I've never met. Maybe some of you have met me before. Thank you. Yeah. Just like me. And that opens my heart. Just like me. It's delight, right? I'm seeing and I'm being seen. We're all doing the very best we can, just like me. Lovely. Beautiful. That brought a smile to my face. My heart feels full, connecting with everybody, seeing your beautiful faces and our willingness to just come together and really meet ourselves. And that's really it. Can I meet myself in the moment? Can I meet myself as a friend, as my dear teacher and mentor and colleague, Sylvia Warstein, always reminds us, may I meet this moment fully, may I meet it as a friend. It's really the whole of the path, right? Because we so often want to push away the things that we don't like. I want to grasp at the things that I do like. That's human nature. But if I can recognize that, that really creates my suffering. I don't like that. I'm going to turn away. I'm not going to experience it, but I am going to experience it. I'm not only going to experience what's happening, but I'm also going to experience my resistance and experience my pain of pushing it away. You know, sweetheart, give yourself a little, you're in pain, right? Okay, this is what's happening. Okay, where do you feel it in your body? What's happening? Just being so present with ourselves. There's nothing we have to do differently. This is the way life just keeps showing up. Yeah, I'm looking at your comments for a moment. I got a little distracted, but I love it. Recenter myself, feel the joy more, position my compass center. Friendship and spiritual connection. Friendship and spiritual connection. Yeah. And that's what we're here. Yeah. So if we would, and then the other thing is, I want to say, I feel like at our essence, at our source, really is love. At the end of the day, it's not just, you know, not just relational love, but a bigger love. The great, that is really what the universe, I believe, holds us in. You know, that's what is our creative source. Just keep coming back to love. Love is always the answer. Love is always the answer. That's my experience, whether it's in relationship with family, with friends, with the world. You know, the world is in an interesting place and it's hard sometimes. So we feel that. Why can't they be different? They're not different. It's what's happening. Right? But there's something bigger here. So let's take some time to connect to all of that. Right? So wherever you are sitting, or some of you I know might need to be reclining. This is Antoinette guided us so beautifully. Bring your feet gently resting on the floor. Your eyes can be closed or your eyes can be open. Closed or open, we can connect to source. But sometimes it's a little easier to turn inward to feel our whole life when we close our eyes or soften our gaze. And that's the only reason we're really asked to do that. And just notice as you do that, how you begin to feel into the body. But if you would, just stretch a little bit. So interlace your fingers, stretch your arms overhead. Look up with your heart. And as you exhale, press your arms away and just round your back a little bit. As you inhale, lengthen, lift the heart. And as you exhale, gently round. Do that one more time. And then round. Take a breath or two there as if I'm there holding your hands. And you can let go in your back a little bit. And then release as you inhale out. And then as you exhale, release the arms down. Notice the effect of that little bit of a stretch. And then inhale the shoulders up. And exhale them round, roll them down the back. Do that one more time. Inhale them up. And exhale, roll them down the back. And then just let those shoulder blades gently tuck under the heart. It invites the heart space to lift and open a little bit. And so right now you take these few long breaths. And then just allow your breath to breathe you. And as I said before, we meet ourselves fully in this moment with a wide open heart at a friend. So as you sit here, you feel yourself sitting wherever you are, resting, lying down. Notice what you're aware of. Feel the begin with this physical body. So the breath breathes you. And you just can scan from the crown of your head down through the body. And let it be an interesting inquiry, investigation. What's showing up right now? Can I just say yes? Welcome it. Ah, I see this, I feel this. Any places that might feel tight this morning or open, none of it's a problem. You might be able to take a breath and soften a little. But that's a different thing than trying to get rid of things. You meet the moment fully, and you have spaciousness, and things actually begin to settle on their own. And then you notice the breath breathing you. This precious breath of life, really. You notice if the breath feels long or it feels short. Meeting ourselves, how we are showing up in this life. Where you feel the breath, where you don't. And then resting in the awareness of breath has the ability to transform our life into a living meditation. And you might notice as you rest with the breath, there are some things going on in the mind. Maybe things that have happened before you got here or things you're thinking about to come. But now notice that place that observes it all. The place of spacious, loving awareness. And in that place, there's a sense of patience. We know that all of these conditions arise and pass. A moment of joy, a moment of sorrow, comfort, discomfort. Even the mind that grasps and likes or dislikes and pushes away. Just know that all of these are changing. They're changing phenomenon. It's the condition of being human. And there are things in our life that are challenging. Sometimes relationships or a diagnosis. Lots of things we have to deal with in this human realm. How do we manage this human realm? Make space for what is. And so whatsoever arises, can you have a sense of acceptance? And just say yes. Even if it's not acceptance, say yes to that. Make space for that. Hmm. Hmm. You might notice as you rest in this way, you just sit in this way, there's a sense that we begin to know that there's a space that we're all trying to get to, but we really have never left. It really is a place of light and love and presence. In fact, it's always there. You always are it. And recognizing when that space that all of our emotions, our physical challenges, is part of this infinite self. And the breath is always there as an ally to call you home. So if you would just now take a few moments to let your life show up inside. And perhaps there are moments of joy or moments of sorrow. Maybe something is really showing up. Maybe something's happening right now. You just check in and see, what do you typically do to navigate your life? What are the skillful means that you have, you choose? Or what is your habit when things show up? Have space for yourself, meet yourself fully as a friend. You just notice as you sit quietly, the information is really a piece of wisdom. And meeting every moment with that level of acceptance. And then checking in again, is there something in your life right now that could use your loving presence, your patience to be with, and acceptance to allow things as they are? And just rest back in that inquiry. And now take a breath and just notice what happens when you welcome everything as part of the whole, right, of the experience and the infinite experience, actually. Just notice. We're not pushing away. Like an, yes, this too, and this too. I'm aware that the more I am inclusive of everything, the more I'm really have a sense of freedom and more equanimity to be in life. Just notice what your experience is. And so that the acceptance of self really leads to self-love. And then for the last few minutes, just sit back. Sit back. Let breath come and go. And feel as you rest with breath, also the energy that you're made of. So if you would take a few long breaths, feel back into being in this body, but yet notice what's happening now, what you're now aware of. Just a moment of gratitude for the time we spend and the time to inquire, the time to meet ourselves so fully. Allow things to be as they are. And recognize that this too shall pass. May the blessing, may the benefit of all that we receive reach out to touch all hearts everywhere. You might like to bring your hands in prayer at your own heart. Just a gentle bowing to your own tender yet awakened heart. And then to each other. Lovely. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, I think. Nice to see you all again. Yeah. Just reflecting on this and what you became aware of and how you typically meet yourself. What was it like for you when you met yourself with an acceptance or welcomed it all as part of the whole experience of this precious life? Nice. Antoinette?
Brahmani, thank you so much. It's such a beautiful practice and such a deepening for our community here to just dive inwards a little bit before we go out and before we go into our communities and the world and in various ways, and to just be fully here, to be fully in this space of acceptance of our own space, body, time, all of it. So the invitation is to kind of keep this space, keep this quality as we turn to each other and connect and share with each other your name, where you're coming from, anything that may be arising for you still. And we'll take about 18 minutes so that we have a few minutes at the end for any questions and anything that may be up to connect with Brahmani at the end. So enjoy the time together. For those of you in Zoom, for those of you in YouTube, thank you so much for joining. And we'll see you again next week. So for those of us here in Zoom, this is the best part. Enjoy the time connecting with each other. Have fun.